Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all to your Wednesday night entertainment here from MRS. We are here round 4 at the Temple of Speed, none other than the Monza circuit. Before we get into qualifying, I have been joined this evening from a man who is rocking the papaya look this season. Always a good look, it must be said. A man who's having a good season, I must say. He's having a decent one. He's improved quite a bit, I would say, since last season. I hope that's not an insult. But I am joined by Mr. Mike Taylor. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, Mark. I'm all good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining me, my friend. Absolute pleasure to have you. Just a few quick ones before we get into qualifying itself. How are you finding the season so far? It's doing okay. It's 10th in the standings. How's it going?
Yeah, so I've had a bit of a mixed bag. I do really gel well with the McLaren. It's definitely a car for me. I love driving it. It just seems to just fit my style. But I've had a bit of a mixed bag. I think last week I couldn't make the race. The week before, unfortunately, I had an incident. So I think my 10th is nowhere near my potential. I definitely think I'm fighting top 5 this season. I just need a few good rounds under my belt to get back to where I think I should be.
Absolutely, mate. And I think you hit the nail on the head. And I think it's a given. I must say, definitely you're one of the top 5 without a question and a shadow of doubt there, buddy. It's sometimes the luck hasn't really gone your way. I know we had that last season when you were in the Red Bull. It was one of those again. Quite close, and then just something somewhere happened, and it just cost you that little bit of momentum. But fingers crossed again. You're going to have it this season. You've got a good, strong teammate in Trem, our president Scouser, who unfortunately isn't with us. You've got Molson in there this evening, another strong driver as well, strong teammate. So,
Yeah, me and Molson have had a good chat tonight as well. So, we shared a bit of knowledge, a bit of setup knowledge. So, hoping that it bodes well for both of us.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you're doing well in the constructors as McLaren. You're currently 4th in the standings, just ahead of the V-Carbs and Williams. So quite a bit of a battle that's just starting to kick off already. Only on round 4 as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I think our MRS, the way we do the point system, the way it all works, the way we allocate cars, I think it really, really helps to keep the championship close, not only for the drivers but for the constructors as well.
Absolutely. No, definitely there. How are you feeling for this one as well? Obviously, Temple of Speed, a track that some like, some hate, really, as well, isn't it, around here?
I think my outright race lap pace is good. It's strong to be definitely up there. It's just going to come down to that first corner, and if I'm incident free, I definitely think I'll be sticking with the front boys tonight, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you. And of course, it's not just a given either around here, is it? We just briefly spoke before we came live on air, and you said that it's one of those. If you're outside of that DRS window, it can really, really hamper you just because of how long the straights are around here and how important it is to stick within it.
Definitely. So if you lose touch with the front lock group, you're going to struggle to gain it unless there's an issue, a safety car or a virtual. So you've got to try and stick with them. And once you're with them, you're just then hoping for some strategy to take over, maybe some tyre wear worse from other cars than myself, and then maybe you can get them towards the end of the race.
Absolutely, and weather's a factor as well here. It's not normally it's not always a nice, clear and dry, as I'm sure you and many others will actually be hoping that, won't you?
No, I know, but you shouldn't swear live on air, if I'm honest, Mark. So fingers crossed for a dry race.
Absolutely, my friend, absolutely. I think we're nearly ready up. So, Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me, buddy. Best of luck for tonight. Best of luck for the season as well. So we'll keep our eye on you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
So, evening all as well to everybody in the chat. Lovely to have you joining us for this one. We're just starting to ready up as well. So, yeah, as Mike said there, he's hopefully looking for a dry race, but quite a difficult track around here. Not difficult necessarily in terms of how technical that circuit is, But it's so important to keep close to the car in front. Once you start getting out of that DRS window and that DRS trains that can form, you could be in for a whole world of pain. Of course, 18-minute qualifying, followed by 27 laps around this very fast, very furious Monza circuit. Welcome everybody in the chat. If you're watching, let me know your favourite memories from this circuit. Have any of you been to Monza? And if not, is it one that you're actually wanting to visit? But let me know your thoughts, let you know your feelings, your memories that stand out as well. So that'd be fantastic to hear. As everybody's now just about readied up as the lobby will start. So round 4 of Season 10 here in MRS, and it's the Kick Saubers, as we mentioned it last week, are still leading the way. Dean, 7 points now he's got over his teammate Thomas, who's got a 15-point gap over Vexman, the lead of the Red Bulls. Dom's there very close behind, and then Monster only 1 point behind that. Liquid Gas, Grimo, Lister, Egg, all very, very close in the drivers' standings. So this could be one where we'll see a lot of movers and shakers. A bit of a decent gap by the Kicks in the constructors, 142 points to Red Bull's 92. So there are little bits in the mid-order. McLaren only 3 points ahead of E-Carb, 2 ahead of Williams, then 5 ahead of Aston Martin. So that could be another one that we could see some movers and shakers over the course of the evening. Now, it's a bit cloudy, isn't it? Now then, we don't know the weather forecast, of course. We're not privy to that, unfortunately, here in the commentary booth. One of the things that esports sort of have over us, don't they? If anyone's watched some of the esports championships so far this season, you'll see that they get a few little overlays as well, a few different camera angles that we're not always privy to, which, well, that's a shame, I must say. Real shame, but hey-ho, it is what it is. No rain from Blood Diamond, so some of the drivers will be rejoicing in that matter. Dean and Liquid Gas have got the Inters on, though, looking at it in the pits, maybe just saving some tyres in their first runs, getting a feel for the circuit. Of course, with it being a bit cloudier, it's a little bit longer to warm the tyres up. So are we going to see a few of the drivers doing 2 warm-up laps? And easy as well to use a lot of that ERS battery around here. Not so many, whoops, as Dom goes a little bit wide at the exit of turn 5, but yeah, it's easy to use a lot of that ERS battery. Very important to use this very strategically. And almost a high engine braking, of course, that new feature that's come in 2024. So people can sort of use that ERS a little bit more. And it does help rotation of the car. So I'd imagine we're seeing very, very high ERS engine braking management going on this evening. A few drivers now starting to leave the pits. And very important to get a clean lap around here. As mentioned, you can get a good tow, but if you don't, it can, like I say, you're in for a lot of pain. Even Vexman, Blood Diamond, of course, lovely to have you as always, my friend. So Dom's going to be the first one to start a lap. Actually going for it early on with hot lap engaged. There you can see at the bottom of your screen. Next car going into turn 4, so he's got a nice clear track in front of him. We will do an onboard of the Monaco circuit. Of course, one of the most historic races in Formula 1. Been here around 50 odd years. Of course, you've got the Curva Grande goes underneath the old banking of the original track that it had here. Of course, home of the Tifosi. Huge following around here for the Ferraris. So Dom's going to be wanting to put on a show. But he comes down to finish his second sector. The 53.8. Keeping it nice and neat. It's easy a few places here to invalidate. You can jump over the turn 1 a little bit. You can jump over turn 4 a little bit there as well through a Scarish chicane. Easy to invalidate your lap, even when riding here through Parabolica. But keeps it nice and neat, well within the white lines. as he powers now towards the line. They sort of got rid of the bump at the exit of Ascari. 21.4 for him. Good start. Let's have a look at Smurfette. He's quite a bit of his battery so far in opening stages of this lap. Trev's in the chat asking Wilson to look after his car while he's missing this evening. I'm sure he will, my friend. I'm sure he will. Having a good season, currently 5th in the standings. So I'm sure Wilson looking for a strong performance. As are Red Bulls, V-Carbs, Williams, as well. Only liquid gas in the Williams this evening. So he's going to have his work cut out. But Smurf just keeping well away from the exit of Ascari and through the second Lesmo, trying to, not wanting to invalidate at all. But I tell you what, a few of the drivers behind getting a really lovely tow off the back of that Mercedes, so that will help their lap times enormously. It's quite a short run to the line, comes up quite quickly at 23 for him, and then Grimo improves, and Mulson as well into the 21s, very close. But Blood Diamond setting the early pace. We missed his lap, but what a lap that is. 20.6 already for him. Let's have a look to the Red Bull, the car with the same livery that he gets for the last 10 years or so. Let me know if you watched the F1 Live last night, of course, where all the teams showcased their new season liveries. Let me know what you thought of the show and the performances last night, as Monster 20.5 on his opening lap. Great lap from him. This is one where I feel that the Red Bulls, the Ferrari and the McLaren could be quite strong. It's a power circuit round here, and of course not an equal performance. So we know how quick, though, Thomas is. We know how quick Liquid Gas is. We know how quick Dean is as well. So I'm sure we'll still see them come through the pack, but I think it's not going to be easy for them. They'll need as much help as they can possibly get. And Mike said it earlier, if there are potential safety cars and virtual safety cars that we get round here, that can really mix up the strategy calls as well. I've seen it before in many league races where people have decided to stay out, people have decided to pit, and it can make a massive, massive difference around here. A couple of the traction zones where it's really vital, just you have that front end grip in the middle sector that's absolutely crucial. Vexman's on a really good lap. Wow, just behind his teammate by less than a tenth, less than 800th to be exact. Good showing already from the Red Bulls, and the V-Carbs just behind. How's Dean getting on? He's on the intermediate tyres, just getting his eye in, saving a little bit of battery. He's bailed and gone into the pits on that one. Let's have a look. Liquid Gas on his first flying lap. Already 7 minutes gone of the session. As it curves around Curva Grande, he's got the McLaren ahead. I believe that might be Mike. Just keeping it neat and tidy. Jack coming to the end of the second sector in the Williams. 53.9 is about what we've seen so far. So this could set Jack around about 4th or 5th potentially. See how he goes through the final sector of the lap. He comes around the final corner, using the rest of the battery. It's a 21.3, 7th for Jack on his opening run. Dom is in 8th. We saw Mike, we missed him. He's now in 4th, so good opening lap from him. Very, very close at the top. Look at that top 4 separated by a 10th and a half. Bit of a gap, but then there's only 3 tenths separating Grimo and Dom. Tom just behind in 9th on his first run. He's now coming through the middle sector, slightly up on his previous time. Doing 2 quicker laps. And a cool down and then a fast one. Plenty of battery left as well. He comes on the final corner to power it towards the line. Give it everything he's got, and it's a 21.002 up to 5th for Thomas, so he'll be a lot happier with that one. Who is on a lap so far? Dom in the pits, Smurfette in the pits, Dean. Let's ride on board with Dean as he comes to start his first flying lap attempt. Ditch the intermediates. Went a little bit hot into Parabolica, looking for a really strong exit as we go down the start and finish straight. There's the finish line, there's the DRS wide open on the kick. Sauber staying to the right, trying to get a bit of tow from the car leaving the pit lane. Does the left, heavy braking around the 100-metre board into the first 2 corners. Little bit deep, really compromised on the exit. That is going to hurt as he comes out of turn 2 round the Curva Grande. Flat out, long turn 3. Keeping to the right hand side. Well, before the Della Roggia chicane. A lot of understeer looking in that. Kicks out and missed the second apex through turn 5. Now we've got the Lesmos. This will show where the understeer is in that car. He's right on the edge through 6 into turn 7. How's it hooking up? A little bit of understeer. Not really got the confidence at this stage. But on the Curva del Seraglio, under the bridge and over the old circuit and into the Ascari chicane, takes the first part very nicely indeed. Little bit slidey through the middle and on the exit down the back straight now before turn 11, the final corner, the Parabolica. How is he looking? A little bit of understeer as he hits the brakes as late as possible. But now powering towards the line. And what's this going to be for Dean on his opening lap? It's a 21.7. I think there's a lot more to come, I'll be perfectly honest, from Dean. Remote through the first sector. 6,000's up. Goes teammate ahead. Oh, very wide and scary for Grimo through the first part of the Lesmos. How much has that cost him? Has it hurt him through the second sector? Easy to do. Once you sort of go over there, it's sort of a ridgeback. He's gained a lot of time, so really pushing on in the V car is Grimo. This could take him easily into the 1:20s. And how is his final sector? Distant tow from his teammate. Early on the power, doesn't look like there's much understeer compared to what Dean's was suffering with. Powering towards the line. What's Grimo going to do? It's a 20.6 gained again up into 5th for Grimo. Great improvement, bringing him within 2/10 of the provisional pole time set by Mr. Mont. Blood Diamond, his teammates actually on the medium tyres. He's done an opener and having a cool down lap. Where is Monster? Up on his time at the motor. Oh, he's invalidated. Oh, Andrew. Not ideal. Might decide he's going to pit. He does. No hardship though. He's got time. Let's have a look at Molson gearing up for a fast lap. Courtney in 7th in the papaya machine. Clear track ahead of him. So let's see. Can he improve on a 21.2? Grimo, we've just seen improve by 4/10 on his next run. Takes it nice and steady. Keeps it in second gear for the first chicane. Get the power down nicely through Curva Grande. Used a lot of his battery so far. He's going to be wanting to try to maybe save that through the course of the lap. Good opening sector for him. Just under 3/10 up. Using the overtake just to get a bit of speed up. How's it going to be through the Lesmos? Nice and steady. There's a bit more of his battery. Could hamper him towards the end. Oh, nearly went wide, but manages to keep it just on the white line. Let's have a look at his middle sector. No battery left. He's going to be really, really hampered. At the end, he's going to lose probably that 2/10 that he was so desperate to keep, and he's done really well to gain. Molson's gone off. Oh, he's out of the session. Oh, Molson. Oh, that's horrible. Lost it through Ascari. And that sent a one-way ticket. Nothing he could do. There was no saving that, unfortunately, for him. And that's his session at best. He's going to be 8th. Liquid Gas has actually set a great lap on the medium tyres. He's at 20.6, so a fantastic lap from Jack there. Blood Diamond on the mediums. We said he was doing a cool down and pushing again, and he certainly is. He's up by quite a sizable chunk. This could be a really good provisional pole time. Of course, a lot of drivers still in the pits. Blood Diamond coming through the parabolic, a little bit of battery left, using it, the final run towards the line. Are we going to see the 19s? It's a 20.5. Oh, lost a bit of time, maybe through Ascari, and slots in just behind Monster. I think he'll be kicking himself with that one. The last sector, the opening 2 sectors were absolutely fantastic from him, and nothing he could do though. Lost it in the final sector. Now Jack maybe gearing up to do another lap. This will probably be his final qualifying lap of the session with less than 3 minutes to go. Unless he decides he's going to pit. He does. Let's have a look. Smurfette on the medium tyres now. What can he do to improve on his 123? Let's have a look. Heavy braking into turn 1. Hits that quite nicely. A little bit snaky on exit. Had to drop it into first gear to get the car rotated. It was a little bit deep at the second part, but a little bit squirrely on exit. Let's have a look at his first sector time. 2/10 up though. Nice and neat. So the De La Roggia chicane now, the Lesmos. Turn the RS off. They'll be saving it just that little bit. Unless he's bailed on his lap, has he? Oh, he may have done. I think he might have just bailed out. No, he's back in hot lap, so he's still pushing on. Would have lost a little bit of time, though, through the second Lesmo. He has. He lost half a second in that middle sector, so doubt there'll be any improvement from him this time around. Who have we got leaving the pits? We have got our championship leader, Dean, just leaving. With is that the last one on track? I think it might be. Nope, second last. Got Jack out as well. Vexman, who's in third currently. Just put, say, at the bottom of the screen there, wheeling it into the garage. That's his qualifying over Blood Diamond as well. Now Monster is out on his out lap. Trying to cement that pole position. But a lot of drivers out there on track. One of the first to start his lap, his next lap I should say, is Grimo. We saw a great improvement from him on his last run. Let's keep our eye on him. The car rotated nicely, smooth on the throttle on the exit of turn 2. Car looks quite nicely hooked up through there. Let's have a look then. End of the first sector is an improvement for Grimo. About equal, slightly down, but nothing to really concern him, I'm sure, at this stage. Really pushing on now. We saw him have a little moment in the Lesmos on this last lap. How is it going to be this time round? A lot neater, a lot tidier. Carrying a lot more speed through there. And a good exit through the second Lesmo as well. DRS wide open. We'll come to his end of the second sector. Has gained about half a tenth. It's all about this final sector now for him, using the overtake at the exit of Ascari, trying to get it pushed down the back straight. The only straight really on this track with no DRS. You can't really call turn 3 a straight, can you? It's more or less a straight. Through Parabolica comes Grimo. And what's it going to be? Is he going to challenge 4th for Grimo? Another improvement. Good last sector. Dom has put it into provisional pole. Where's Monster? Monster's slightly up on his time. Used a lot of his battery, though. This is going to hamper him. But he's getting a bit of a toe from a kick. This is all down to, can he gain a tenth of a second? Can he snatch pole position back from Dom? It's going to be very, very close. He can't do it. Thomas has snatched second. Right at the death. 8,000 behind Dom. Who's next across the line? We've got Mike, unfortunately invalidated. Where is Dean? Where is our championship leader? Coming through the final corner. Plenty of battery left. Now taking a tighter exit. Trying to get the power down. Is this going to challenge? It's third behind his teammate. Last ditch attempt for many drivers. What an end to qualifying that was. Wow. Well, now we can have a look at those times, folks. Wow, that was fast and furious, wasn't it? Dom is going to take pole position in the Ferrari. 8,000 ahead of Thomas. And then only 800 behind Dom is the other Kicksauber of Dean Monster. Gutted probably to be in fourth, but very, very strong qualifying from him. Just ahead of his team, Blood Diamond in fifth, Liquid Gas in sixth, then Vexman in seventh, Grimo in eighth, Mike will be in ninth, Mulson will take 10th, and Smurf will be in 11th in the Mercedes. So that was an interesting qualifying session. A few people a little bit snaky through parts and maybe struggling a little bit with the heat in the tyres. But while people are setting up their cars, getting their race strategies in order and their tyres in order, lovely sunshine now. So the heat of tyres not going to be too much of a problem this time round. It's going to be an interesting one to see strategies as well. Of course, early safety cars, quite a big issue around here. We saw Mulson lose it through the Ascari chicane, and that was his qualifying over really early on. So disappointing for him, but he's going to want to try to make amends in the next 27 laps. Lovely sunshine that we have here. So it's another difficult one. The soft tyres can go a good distance around here. Low tyre wear. But then the hards will pretty much do the whole race. Mediums will still do a long way. It could be a soft and medium strategy one stop. Has anyone saved a set of softs? That's the question. I think the kicks have. I think Jack has. And a few drivers have saved some soft tyres. So it's going to be an interesting one this race, especially when it comes to the strategy calls, starting tyres as well. Top two are going to be maybe top three actually. They'll be starting on their qualifying tyres, so that'll be mediums for the Kicksaubers and the softs for Dom, who takes the pole position. So just wait now for the drivers. As I mentioned before, folks, do get involved in the chat. Let me know your thoughts on the performances last night and the new liveries that we have for season, well, the 75th season, I should say, of Formula 1 2025. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your predictions as well for the season. Who do you think and who do you feel are going to be a strong package? Not just drivers, but team as well. Of course, reliability is such a key factor nowadays in Formula 1 with a limited amount of parts available. So do let me know. It'd be great to have you joining me. As in a few moments' time we will set up for the formation lap. And now just on cue, the formation lap is underway. Let's have a look at those tyres. So mediums for Dom. Thomas is starting on the softs, Dean on the mediums. So they will have to use the tyres at some point. Everyone else mainly on the mediums. Mike and Smurf have gone for the hard tyres. That's an interesting strategy from them. But everyone else pretty equal across the board. So expect a strong start from Thomas on the soft tyres, a better launch potentially for him. Dom setting the pace on this formation lap. It's going to be interesting to see any team games that come about. We've seen the Red Bulls have a few team games as well. Well, they've actually said mediums to hards as the possible strategies. Now, that's a bit surprising because the softs do come into play and can go quite well round here. But the two McLarens very close, of course, next to each other on the grid. Blood Diamond and Grimo usually work well together. Monster and Vexman, the Red Bulls as well. It's interesting to see what the kicks do as well. Now, we've seen a lot of battles with them already this season. We've seen some incredible wheel-to-wheel action. Dean was absolutely in a world of his own last time out in Silverstone. 2 races ago in Silverstone, actually, I should say. Do apologise. But even last week in China, that was a fantastic race. A lot of brilliant racing that we saw, and varying strategies, difficult conditions, but looks all dry for the drivers tonight, so nothing really to worry about for them this time round in terms of strategy calls, setup calls, and worrying about tyres. Now then, that's Smurf, the final man, to line up on the grid, and we've got a really good view of 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and MOS on your Wednesday night is going. It is racing. Good start, as mentioned, from Thomas. Really got the hammer down. Poor start from our pole sitter. He's almost, Dean almost tried to have a look, but Thomas is on the inside into turn 1. Get room for the Ferrari, but then he's going to be hampered on the exit. Is this going to be Dean's chance to jump as well? It is. It's a really shocking start from Dom. Really not what he wanted at all. Monster's a good start. He's in 4th, very clean towards the back. Liquid Gas, really poor getaway. He's now down in 9th place. Grimwell's got through. What's happened there? We've seen a few jumpers. What on earth happened there? I think Vexman actually got it wrong. Cut the corner, jumped a few places and jumped further back. That's a strange one. I think that may have caught Dom, actually. That may have caught Dom out. Look at that, the gap, 1.2 seconds already to the 2 kick salvers ahead. And that's absolute disaster for Dom. 3 seconds straight away for Vexman for the corner cut, and Grimo is up 2. He's had a really good start. Mike's up 1, Liquid Gas, as I mentioned. Difficult start for him, but Mike's on the hard tyres as well, don't forget, in that McLaren. So this is exactly what he would want, being part of the train as well. Dom's had a good middle sector, so DRS will be activated on this lap, but they won't get it down the start-finish straight. They'll come into force later on. Now let's get rid of that. Thomas sets a fast lap, of course, on the first lap of the race as we start lap 2, 2/10 ahead of his teammate, but his teammate has got the slipstream. Thomas moves over a little bit to defend, but Monster in the background's got the run on the Ferrari, gets the move done into turn 1. Great move from the Red Bull. Moved up into 3rd. Now he's going to want to have a fantastic, really quick middle sector so he doesn't lose that DRS. He's just out of it at this moment in time from the kicks, but this is going to be important for Andrew now. Otherwise, he's going to be in a world of pain when it comes out later on this lap. I'm not going to lie, folks, I am leaving the top 2 alone. We've seen it so many times, those 2 battling. So we know what's going to come. But is Dean going to have a move? He is. He's not wasting any time whatsoever. First time use of the DRS and gets through on his teammate. Takes the lead. Monster holds off the Ferrari behind him, and Blood Diamond and Grimo and Blood... Vexman. What happened there? Blood Diamond. What happened to Blood Diamond? Maybe he had a real big moment. He's now dropped to 10th. Oh, Smurf's gone round as well in Ascari. Oh, so unlucky for him. But Monster's closed down. Has he got the DRS? Is it going to be open? It is. So Monster really strong in Ascari at the moment. It's helping him keep a bit closer. Dom just moving out of the slipstream, trying to scare Monster a little bit. Oh, who was that? That's Vexman. Bouncing over turn 2. All kinds of wrong for him. That's going to cost him a huge amount of time. I know he's under pressure from the lead RB, and here comes Grimo. We've got Mike as well, looking very, very interested. Anyone going to make a move? Vexman only loses the one place. Mike not able to do anything about it. And follow him through. Of course, hard tyres again for Mike, so this is going really well. Oops, speaking of the devil, he goes very, very wide through there. Vexman looking very racy now on the back of Grimo. Also just dropped outside the DRS at this point, but I tell you what, Mike's looking very, very racy indeed. Oh, is he going to have it? Oh, there's a little bit of argy-bargy. Grimo survives another day. Monster a bit closer. This lap going to help him get the DRS on the top two, so the top four all within DRS of each other, which is fantastic to see. Rear wing on that Red Bull does open, but is Thomas going to be close enough to have a fight on his teammate? I think so this time round. Grimo in this battle of Vexman, Mike, Liquid Gas, but Damon Wilson having it. Oh, there they are at the back of screen, having a fight as well. But Diamond does get through. Grimo dropped off the back. This is going to hurt him. He's just going to want everyone just to hold station a little bit behind. Monster seems to struggle out of turn 2 and lose a couple of tenths really each lap, and then gets it back through Ascari. He seems to struggle this first sector, really difficult for him, and then just comes alive in the final sector. Didn't have the DRS again. That's going to just hurt him. He's going to want to make a few changes, make a change to his braking maybe, and his throttle inputs just get a bit smoother. Because oh, Monster, no! Oh no, he's out. Lost it through Ascari. Safety car has been called. Oh, we've just seen exactly the same thing from Molson in qualifying, and Monster has done exactly the same thing. Oh, what a race he was having. Oh, that is absolute guttering for him. Dean and Thomas, both the leaders, have pit, interestingly enough. Everyone behind us pit. Let's have a look now at these tyres. Mike, of course, wouldn't. He's on the hards. Look at the double stack. This is going to cost Thomas so much time. Another set of mediums for Thomas. Hards for Grimo, hards for Dean. Thomas and Vexman both gone to mediums. Everyone else gone on the hard tyres. They'll be able to take those long into this race and probably go to the end. So, 5 laps in. First safety car. Disappointing for Monster, I'm sure. He'll be really unhappy with that one. He was having a great race, good qualifying as well. And that's the thing about Ascari. It can really just bite at any time. No matter if your tyres are fresh, as we saw from Molson in qualifying, no matter if they're a little bit worn. There should have been a good operating window as well, but we just get a little greedy. We just saw through that second part where the curb sort of changes a little bit. It changes its profiling slightly, and that caught Monster out and catches a lot of drivers. I think Smurf lost it there as well early on. So, our pole sitter didn't pit. The two Papaya machines, the McLarens, didn't pit either, going from 9th and 10th on the grid. So Dean did, but he's, importantly for him, he's got Grimo and Vexman between him and Thomas, his teammate. And Grimo on the hard tyres. Vexman with the penalty, of course. So it's a lot to play for here. It'll be interesting to see if the medium tyre runners can take them as far as the end, barring any other virtual safety cars or full safety cars. But the mediums could go well, but the hard tyre runners are moving about a little bit more, trying to get as much heat as possible into them. It's very difficult to do that round here with the long straights. Safety car should come in this lap. Depends how quickly Smurf can join the back of the Crocodile. I think he should be able to do that. Let's see if the safety car decides to pit. It could be a late call. We do get later calls for the safety car around here because we are now in Sector 3. Usually it's the start of Sector 3, but around here it's going to be a late one because we have got Smurf now pretty much on the back of the pack. We'll see him come down the sky. There he is. And there, as soon as he gets close, safety car is in this lap. So Dom is the man to be the de facto safety car now. Dean is going to want to try to get a bit closer to the back of these top three. But it's when Dom decides he's going to put the hammer down. You can see the safety car now in the pit lane, and now he's put the hammer down. As soon as the safety car's gone, but didn't catch anybody napping. Mike, very close. Everyone nose to tail down the start finish straight. Are we going to see some moves? I tell you what, we are going to see some moves. It's Dean. Dean's having a look at the back of Molson. Oh, there's been a tap into turn one. That was Mike, just got a little bit deep. Hit Dom, but everyone's okay. But that's allowed Dean to come through. Already into second. That's huge for him. Thomas has got through on Vexman as well. That's critical for him. Grimo's on the outside of the McLaren as well. What's this going to be like into turn four? Heavy braking as the McLaren could have tried to. There's been a tap. Oh no. And now Thomas is through. Molson in the wars. And the safety car restart. Both McLarens in the wars. And it's favoured both of the kick Saubers. There are a few gaps though. The top two have disappearing off a little bit. Mike, after his little excursion, has dropped back. Thomas is going to want to close that as quickly as possible on his fresher tyres. Grimo's going to want to stick with him. Got Grimo and Vexman. Grimo just let Vexman go there. Didn't fight that one too hard. Difference in tyres. LS now back being enabled. And that gap, the top two, is Dean going to even wait for the DRS? He's alongside the Ferrari into turn one. Last of the late breakers. And Dom not really fighting him. It's not in his strategy, of course. Dean has pitted, Dom has not. So Dom just needs to try to stick with the kick Sauber and make sure there's a good enough gap all the way through between the fighting pack behind him. And try to keep that as steady as possible. Everyone else within DRS, everyone else knows to tail. Liquid Gas still struggling down in 8th. Got Molson behind him. He's just dropping off the back, struggling to keep with the RBs at this moment in time. There he is, coming through the second Lesmo. Won't have DRS this time. Blood Diamond and Grimo. I wonder if Grimo's having a few problems. I wonder if he's got a bit of damage, Grimo. Because he is now, since that tap that he had with Molson, he's dropped quite a bit of pace there. But you'd think, because he's on the same tyres as his teammates, so you'd think he'd want to push on a little bit more. But Thomas is having a sneaky look. And the McLaren waiting wisely for the DRS. You don't want to try and make a move to Parabolica with the DRS coming very, very soon. And the top two go out of shot. This could be a world of pain for Mike, because he has got no DRS, but Thomas does. So does Vexman. Vexman's had to back out. Nearly went to the overspeed. Was incredible of him. Oh, there's been a couple of taps. Vexman, just really unlucky, but did the sportsmanlike thing and let Mike go through. Mike lost so much time through there. It's not been an evening for the McLaren boys at this moment in time, but they are going to score points as it stands. They still just need to get the head down, get some points, get back into the rhythm after this absolutely crazy Opening 2 laps of the safety car restart. But importantly for the kicks, Dean and Thomas first and third. Bit of a gap that Thomas has to try to bridge. He's got a good gap to Mike behind, who is under a lot of pressure from Vexman, the 2 V-carbs, and the liquid gas, who has got that gap back down under a second. Oh, who was that in the background? Was that Mulson? It was. Lost it through Ascari, but managed to keep it out of the barriers. Didn't want to repeat. He almost had deja vu. But now then, are we going to see Vexman this time make the move on the McLaren? Well, I think he tried to, but I think Blood Diamond had a better run. And Vexman actually had to pull back in and avoid the overtake because Blood Diamond was already coming past him. So Blood Diamond, Vexman stays in 5th after all that. Mike drops 2 and Blood Diamond's gained 2 into 4th. Unbelievable racing so far, and that's the big difference of the DRS and getting the exit off the Parabolica, saving battery as well. Thomas has made a bit of headway actually. It was 2.5 seconds, now only 2.1 to the top 2. That'll be encouraging for him. Of course, they're on. He's on the mediums. Dean's sitting pretty at this moment in time. He's on the hard tyres. I think he'll be reasonably happy with Dom, who's just as we spoke. Oh, Vexman, that's a second penalty. Ran wide twice. Might have had 2 warnings for that one. 1 penalty through the final part and then running wide as well. Definitely over the white line. Difficult evening for the Red Bulls. We've seen a difficult evening for the Papayas of the McLarens, and now the Red Bulls struggling as well. Not one to remember for them. But importantly for Vexman, he has got the DRS to try to defend. Just so, mine just goes very, very deep though. That's allowed the McLaren to go around the outside, and Grimmel's going to have the better exit as well. Red Bull's really struggling. Yep, 6 seconds there for Vexman. But that gap, look at these gaps at the top. Dom's struggling now. He hasn't pitted, don't forget, so he's now struggling a little bit on those tyres for the overall grip. Thomas is closing down. Well, by about half a second a lap actually, which is huge around here, and that's how important it is. The fresher tyres, the extra grip that Thomas has got when it's needed. Dom just struggling for overall pace. See what Blood Diamond can do. He's still got Mike and his teammate Grimmo for company. Grimmo all over the back of the lead Papaya machine. Of course, he hasn't pitted either. So these drivers who didn't pit under that early safety car really, really struggling for overall pace right now. Dom losing time hand over fist to Dean and the other Kixel, but behind him Mike struggling as Dom has now bailed. Dom's pit. Let's have a look at the tyres that he has used. He's gone to the hard tyres. It'll be okay to take them to the end. So that 12. Not far off half race distance. 3.4 seconds the gap between the two Kick Saubers. Well, we've seen that before. Will they be taking maximum points once again this evening? But it's all about this battle for the final podium position. As it stands, Mike under so much pressure from Grimmo, but Mike's now the one on the attack against Blood Diamond. Had the DRS, makes the move into Ascari. Oh, runs very wide though. That's going to really, really hamper him. But look at this, the overspeed, but the V-Cap is just sitting there. Grimmo's using this opportunity to close on the two of them to try and get the run through the Parabolica. Oh, runs a little bit snaky under braking. Grimmo, Blood Diamond takes a different line through it. Maybe that's given Mike a little bit of reprieve. Has it? Probably not, because of the overspeed. Look at this, the difference. Grimo's now the first one. They're going side by side through, and wow, Mike couldn't do anything about it. Is Grimo going to get out of his teammate as well into turn one? Oh, it's side by side, very, very close. There's a little bit deep from Grimo, and oh, there's cars all over the shop. Hang on. Vexman's now got through because Grimo went a little bit wide through 1 into 2. That hampered his teammate massively. And now look at this, Vexman's having a look at Mike Taylor. I think Liquid Gas got caught out a little bit as well with it. Oh, lock up. Oh, he's had to bail on it as well. But there's Jack on the outside. Mike has just lost all of those places in 4 corners. Can we have a bit of a breather, please, boys? Do you mind? So now we've got the V-Carps, 3rd and 4th, Vexman in 5th, Liquid Gas hanging in there in 6th. Difficult race for him. He's not really gelled with the Williams so far this season. Oh, that's a little bit wide from Blood Diamond, but he's now going to have Vexman all over the back of him. Still going to be in the DRS though, so Vexman thinks better of it. Blood Diamond's going to be hoping that he is going to have enough battery and enough tow off his teammate to help pull him along. And don't forget, oh, Dom's got 3-second penalty through on Smurf. Not sure exactly what happened there. Don't forget that these Constructors' Championships, this is huge for V-Cabs, could easily jump the McLarens and will jump the McLarens if it stays like this. Jack will score some points as well to close up a little bit, and they'll pull away from the Mercedes and the Aston Martin boys as well. No Haas drivers this evening, or Alpine or Smurf. 10-second penalty, be a difficult one for him so far in the drivers' standings. And the top 2 are doing what the top 2 do. Monster's going to lose a handful of points as well. Difficult day at the office for him, but Blood Diamond, this will help him massively climb up the table. Close with GTR missing as well this evening, and Lister Egg. But Grimo's going to be looking forward and hoping to score as many points as he possibly can. But Vexman in 3rd in the championship, sitting there in 5th. It'll be a decent haul of points. Blood Diamond's dropped off the back of Grimo at this moment in time. Smurf, there's a VSC. Where is that VSC come from? We missed that a little bit. I was looking at the championships, I'm not going to lie, folks. That explains why Grimo was 1.7 seconds at one point. So we missed that slightly. Do apologise. The field was nullified. Dom suffered from it. Smurf really suffering, unfortunately. Drive-through penalty. Let's have a look at those penalties now. 6 for Vexman, 3 for Dom, and a drive-through for Smurf. Could be in lap territory before long. Vexman, Liquid Gas having a ding-dong fight. Vexman through on the Williams. Vexman still keep in touch with the V-Carbs ahead. It's important for him. Grimo looking to really push on with the help of his teammate. Don't forget, let's go back to these tyres, because Vexman's done 10 laps on the mediums. We saw a few drivers at the start go about 11 laps or so, start to struggle even with the laps under the safety cars. So is there going to be another stop for these medium tyre runners? Are they going to be able to eke them out to the end? When will the crossover come in to play? Blood Diamond just coming out of the slipstream a bit, maybe just to deter Vexman from making a move down into the Ascari. But I think those gaps are very, very close. Grimo has gained a little bit of time on Thomas on this lap, which is good, but he's still under massive amounts of pressure from his teammate and the sister car, the Red Bull, behind. Jack's dropped off the back a little bit from them. He's going to want a battle to take place. Vexman has now pit. Now Blood Diamond does go through on his teammate. So Vexman did cry after 11 laps on those mediums. He's now gone to the hards, and he will look to take those to the end of the race. He's going to come out, I think, around Mike. He is moving. You can see in the bottom right of your screen. That's going to be very, very close down to turn 1. But now Blood Diamond, now these two V-Cabs need to work together. There can be some very, very good points on offer for them this evening. They are closing down Thomas, who is dropping quite... Oh, but damn it, very squirrely in the second last one. That'll hamper his run down the next straight, but they are closing down. Thomas is struggling to keep with his teammate. And that could be the difference in tyres. But this is encouraging for the drivers on the hard tyres. Jack is still struggling to keep with them. Interesting to see what Dom can do. That 13.5 second gap to liquid gas. He's not unpitted for those hard tyres, so they'll be feeling okay. They'll feel good towards the end as well. Just need to keep managing that gap, bringing that down as well. So, such is the difference in pace at the V-Carbs. They're really closing it. They're almost in DRS, and I'm sure they will be on the next lap of Thomas, who is really struggling for overall pace this evening. So 10 laps more to go after this one, and it is not done by any stretch of the imagination. Dean comfortable in front, 5.8 second gap, doing what he does best and just disappearing off into the distance, letting everybody fight for the remaining points and places behind him. But now look at this, did say it. Blood Diamond closing up on the back of the Sauber. Now when is Thomas, is he going to pit? You'd think he has to. The tyres are dropping off so much, he hasn't pit this lap. So he has given Blood Diamond the DRS. There it is, the wing is open on both V-Carbs. And you would think the 1-2, but the potential 1-2 anyway, from the Saubers is looking increasingly at risk. Mike, after his pit stop, sets the fastest lap of the race. Good lap from him, 21.9. Not far from the qualifying laps we saw as well. But the Blood Diamond closing up on Thomas, who now that's 6 seconds as well. Dean just controlling everything out front. But it's the closest gaps at the moment. Dom is actually closing. He's closed about a second in the last lap and a half or so on liquid gas. So that could be potentially interesting towards the end if Jack's tyres do go away. There he is in the Williams. If his tyres go away, Dom's won't. So that's going to be an interesting one. But now look at this, the V-Carb's a lot closer this time around. Thomas feigning to pit, trying to break some of the toe. But there goes Blood Diamond, made him go the long way around on the outside. Is Grimmer going to be close enough as well this time around? He's not quite. Thomas maybe using a bit of his battery to try to defend and not lose too many places, as there is the stricken Mercedes of Smurf now a lap down. Continuing on his way, a definite point for him at the end, so definitely worth him continuing on his way. But now Blood Diamond up into second. What can Grimoire do now about that? Doesn't want his teammate with equal aged tyres to pull away or pull any kind of gap. He's going to want to get through on Thomas as quickly as possible. But this DRS is going to help Thomas just defend against that. Maybe had to think of attacking back. Through a Scary. The V-Carbs definitely looked the more comfortable cars through that. And Grimoire got a really good exit right up the rear wing of that kick Sauber through the Parabolica. How is the exit going to be? What is Thomas going to do? Is he going to pit? Is he just feigning it now? As he don't need to feign it? But I tell you what, Grimoire had to go out of the slipstream early. He's going to hope to try and get the slipstream from his teammate. Is he trying to power pass down this kick? And down the starfish, I think he's got it done. Can he get the car stopped in time? He can't! Oh, Grimmo slowed right down, trying not to get a penalty, and he's had to bail out on that one. Oh, that's heartbreak for Grimmo. Hopefully he can get on the back of these two cars ahead of him. Jack doing what he needs to do at the moment. That gap is coming down, increasing another second nearly to Dom, who is absolutely flying along. Be disappointed after the pole position he had. Difficult at the start for him. Let's go back to the penalties as well. 10 seconds for Smurf for that speeding in the pit lane infringement. Vexman, 2 early 3-second penalties. And Dormont as well on 3 seconds to get sideways through the first of the Lesmos. Let's have a look at those position changes as well. Dean and Blood Diamond up a couple of spots themselves. Thomas is down 1. Grimmo, good way so far, up 4 for him. Dom, disappointing 1, down 5. Mike's up 2 from starting in 9th. Just maybe held out a little too long, but had to. He was on the hards, so had no real choice in the matter. He might come under pressure from Vexman, but those 6 seconds of penalties will just play on Mike's mind. Grimmo, yeah, really has dropped off. Took him a little while to get back in the groove, and he's gonna really have to push on to get those 2.4 seconds back. Trying to snatch a podium position here this evening. 7 laps to go. There's your second and third. Grimmo trying to close that back down. Does have the pace, we've seen it earlier. But you have to try to stick with him as well. Just trying to help pull himself along a little bit, get a little bit of a distant slipstream, distant tow to help with that gap that's ever dropping, ever falling to Dom in 6th. But he has got 3 seconds, so that'll help with liquid gas a little bit more. And that gap out front, 6.1 seconds. It's hovered around that for the last couple of laps. As I mentioned, Dean just managing everything, world of his own at the moment. And that's the hardest part sometimes when you're out on your own. It's managing your braking points, it's managing your throttle application, trying to maintain the same speed, the same lap times, lap after lap, with the tyres degrading but the fuel coming off as well. And sometimes a little bit of what I call track blindness kicks in, and that's when errors start to come in. But we've seen Dean win like this before already this season, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. Grimmo trying his best. Well, he brought down 2 tenths in the last lap. Needs more than that if he wants to catch the back. Thomas is doing a great job. Oh no, Grimmo! Lost it through turn 4. Has he got wing damage? I think he has. Yep, a lot of wing damage to that V-carb. Both end plates are missing. Oh, from what could have been a podium. So now he's going to struggle for the last couple of laps. Probably have to pit, I would say. Oh, it's heartbreak for the V-carb. So 1 V-carb is on the podium. A break away for liquid gas. Found himself up in 4th now. Was down in 8th and 9th early on in this race. Mike with a 3 seconds to join them. That's not what Mike needs. That gap to Vexman is coming down, and he had that 6-second cushion. Now it's only a 3-second cushion. So that's going to make Mike a little bit nervous now in the final stages. But is Thomas... Oh, thought about going the outside, then went to the inside. Thomas now retaking second. Just cooled the tyres down on the last few laps, maybe recharge his battery. Now retake second for Blood Diamond. This battle, I feel, folks, is going to go on to the end. How is Grimmo getting on? Is he deciding to pit? He's not. In fairness, Grimmo's lost both end plates. Now, if you lose one end plate, yes, the balance of the car is absolutely shocking. Absolutely guaranteed. He's lost both. So yes, he's lost front downforce. Yes, he'll lose front end grip. But it'll be consistent. That's the difference. You're not going to feel it more going through the left-handers. You're not going to feel it more going through the mid to high-speed right-hand corners. it's going to be a balanced loss of downforce for him. Oh, Blood Diamond got the corner a little bit there through the first part of Ascari. Doesn't want to do that too much. In case he gets a 3-second penalty, that would bring Jack into play, only 3.4 behind, and it would cement almost a 1-2 for the kicks, and that is not what is needed. With these two battling, Dean has extended that lead 7.3 seconds now, the gap, with 3 more laps to go. But Mike really has closed down the gap to Grimo. He's just struggling for overall pace now as Grimo, which we said he might do. Another overtake under the DRS for Blood Diamond, retakes that second place. Now it's just about strategy. Grimo has now lost under the DRS with Mike. He just needs to keep there. He'll get that 6th place back if he stays within 3 seconds of Mike. Of course, look at those penalties. Vexman was 6 as well. So as long as he keeps close to them, he will get it. But there has been a yellow flag in sector 2. I think that's the Smurfette it is. Driving slowly to try and keep out of the way. That's not the point of the track you want to be there, though. That's going to Grimo go down the outside into the first Lesmo. I know he did his best, though. Not what you could do about it. Liquid Gas just dropped off a little bit. So then he's going to want to push on in the next couple of laps. Try to bring that down under the 3 seconds, because if there is a penalty for any of these drivers, that could really bring Jack into a podium place. I would say probably a surprise podium as well. I've not really been at the races, the Williams man, this evening. Played his strategy well though, and just picked off places when needs be. Was in a few of the fights early on as well. But doing what he needs to do, Jack. But this is a great showing from Blood Diamond and Thomas. Really, really strong racing for the V-Car man especially. We know what Thomas can do, last season's champion. And his teammate 7.3 up the road. So another great hollow point. See, Blood Diamond gone wide again. He's going to be close to that 3 seconds. And then if he does, Thomas just needs to then sit there. He will get it on penalties, unless, of course, Thomas has any track limit warnings himself. Yeah, Grimo struggling already, 2.5 behind Mike Taylor. That's not going to help. He's going to want to close that up to try to regain 6, but Vexman has now passed him as well under the DRS. So Grimo really struggling. We've got 2 more laps to go. Grimo, I'm sure, wants want it to be 1. But is Thomas going to have a go? He's got the DRS open. He pulls out the slipstream into turn 1 and does make the move. Now then, folks, here's a little bit of something for you. Is that a lap early? We have 1 more lap after this. 3 more squirts of the DRS. Well, 1 and a bit. 2 and a bit, I should say. Is that too soon? Oh, I think we've had a moment. Smurf's had a problem somewhere. Oh, yep, had a big problem. Doing donuts in the gravel. Lost it round Parabolica. That's unlucky, difficult one, but it's still going on, still going to get a point. Oh yeah, lost half a front wing, that's not going to feel good. Grimo's decided to pit. It'll be 2 points at best. They're going to be trying to go for the fastest lap. What's he put on, a set of softs? Certainly is. So, Grimo going for the fastest lap. Now, interesting, Jack has now reclosed that gap down to under 3 seconds for Blood Diamond. Blood Diamond didn't use the DRS, didn't overtake under DRS to Ascari, knowing we've got this to come. Start finish straight. Already Dean going into turn 1 at the start of his final lap. But this is the battle for the second place on the podium. Who's going to sit in second? Who's going to be in third? Blood Diamond now retakes second place. Has he got enough in the tank? Has Thomas got enough grip left in those medium tyres? A fantastic stint from Thomas, must be said, to keep those mediums alive. and to keep battling. Jack only 2.5 seconds further back, so this is a good push from Jack. Look at this, is Thomas going to try and have a look into turn 4? Thought about it, maybe just make a Blood Diamond think about what he's doing and think about his braking points, trying to put him off. Great battling from these two. And now then, DRS activated. Blood Diamond using, is he going to use as whatever battery he can, because here comes Thomas. Thomas is going to have a look. He's gone to the inside. We're going to the bridge. It's heavy braking underneath to Ascari, who's going to be late. Just as they're going to be contact, there was a little bit of a rub. Oh no, Blood Diamond nearly losing it as well. On Jack's through, Blood Diamond battling for second as Dean crosses the line to take the win. Thomas is going to come across after all that in second place after a very hard fought battle. Liquid Gas takes third. Blood Diamond, disappointing for him. He's going to be really upset with fourth, I would imagine. With that, we're going to see Dom, our pole sitter, in the Ferrari. He's going to take fifth this evening. Mike is going to be in sixth, then Vexman is going to be in seventh. We're going to have to wait a little bit, unfortunately, for Molson and Grimmo. Grimmo trying to set the fastest lap as well, so we'll keep our eye on that and see if he manages it. Oh, heartbreak for Blood Diamond. Tried to defend on the outside the first part of Ascari. Just got a little bit overcooked, a little ego on the throttle to the second part. And nearly lost the rear, nearly ended up in the wall. Molson does finish in eighth. What about Grimmo? Can he set the fast lap? Can he pinch the tape? Does! Grimmo takes the fastest lap. A little consolation for him. He was also fighting for podium early on. And Smurf is going to round out the 10. Only Monster, unfortunately, the DNF, and outside of the points this evening. What a good race that was. Very interesting race. Good fought racing. Mike gets the game's driver of the day. But somehow, at the end of all that, after all the battling, all the DRS overtakes, it's a kick Sauber 1-2. We thought for a while it wasn't going to be, that Thomas on the medium tyres would lose a lot of pace towards the end, but managed to keep it and battle with Blood Diamond until 2 corners from the end. And it's another almost maximum points for the men in green. Jack in third. I bet he did not expect that one at the opening couple of laps. And there we are, provisional standings for this evening. Dean and Thomas, the top two, with Jack on the podium. Blood Diamond, probably disappointed, I would say, with fourth. Dom in fifth. Mike in sixth. And Vexman in seventh. Difficult day for the Red Bulls, you'd have to say. Grimmo in ninth. Sorry, Molson in eighth. Grimmo in ninth. Then Smurfed in 10th. Monster DNF'd after a really good start of the race, and just unfortunately lost it in Ascari and was just a passenger, unfortunately. Grimmo with the fastest lap as well. My driver of the day? It's a difficult one. We saw a lot of fantastic racing there this evening. Thomas and Blood Diamond, honourable mentions. I think Jack sort of just kept his nose clean and managed with the podium. So I think you're sort of going to have to look at those guys for how well they've done this evening. Of course, Dean just didn't look like giving it up again, did he? Commanding win once again from our championship leader. Well, that's all from us today, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike, for joining me early on as well. We're back in a week's time on the 26th of February for round 5 of this MRS Championship. Thank you so much for watching me, everybody, and we look forward to seeing you then. Good night.